all right. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Can't wait to show you guys this. It's new, well, new to me. It's been out on the market for a couple of years, but this switcher that comes with configuration files, shortcuts, and activators so that it works out of the box with vMix. There's some tricks to it, though, so hang around. We'll be right back with the show in just a few minutes. All right, let's try that. Let's try that. We got audio. At least I think we have audio. You know, when you're doing something for the first time and you haven't tested it, yes, you say, you're surprised. No, you're not. Yeah, well, we'll get into the guts of this in the show, but it has been an interesting morning and early afternoon. Good audio. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I was not too sure. I was not too sure because it's like if you carry a big, this is what it was. I had a giant Lego thing, race car, boat, you know, whatever. It was perfect. It was my vMix preset for the show. And so I took it and I just threw it up in the air and let the pieces fall where they may. And then I'm like, you know, is this a lower control arm or is this part of the outboard motor? I don't know. Let's put it back together and see if it works in time for the show. So we'll do that. We will do that. It will be fun. It will be fun. Let's see. Lego is Denmark. That's right. Yes, indeedy. Let's see. Let's get where we can post those comments. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, Denmark. I want to go to Denmark. I want to go to Denmark. I was in Amsterdam, but that was, you know, what, 4 or 5 years ago. Golly gee. And this fall, we're going to Portugal. My brother is quite the world traveler and wanted us to go with him and his wife. And they have some sort of home exchange program where they can let people come stay at their house in Boston, and they get points towards a house somewhere else. So we have this. He has this manor out in the countryside in Portugal. Not quite sure where. We'll have to get the geography down a little closer as we get to it. But giant place, 7 bedrooms, you know, 6 bathrooms, amazing. I think it's a little older. Maybe it's a little on the decline. That's why it was available on this home exchange program. But yeah, we'll see. It could be good. It could be good. Never been to Portugal before. But yes, need to go to Denmark. Need to go to Denmark in the summer. Yes. Don't go anywhere in the winter. I don't, except South Florida. But yeah. So what is going on? What is going on? Actually, I'm pretty busy here in the studio. I've got one system, I'd say 98% complete. Part of that system is what we're going to review here today. Hey, Gunner, welcome. Glad to have you. Part of that system that I'm building includes this this switcher that we'll talk about today, and then I have another system behind me burning in. You can see the Heath person back there. That believe it or not, that is not the vMix channel. That is something called vGix, vGix. It's an alt channel. You need to check it out on YouTube. Apparently they did some videos 3 or 4 years ago, and it I don't know whether it never caught on or they never were really that interested in going much further with it. It was Heath and Tim, or as they called themselves, something like Deeth and Dim. No, that couldn't be right. They wouldn't use Dim. But yeah, they renamed themselves for that series. And we put our trust in these people for software. Oh my gosh, jeez. Anyway. Yeah, it was interesting because I was doing some research on this TYST TY-1500HD switcher, looking at the screen right there because that's where it's written. But I was doing some research on that and on YouTube to see, okay, what kind of reviews are out there? What do people know about it? What do they like about it? And suddenly Heath and Dim popped up. And yeah, so I had to go see it all. So welcome, Dr. Edwards. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. If you have a question about vMix or streaming, Dave Edwards knows it all. And if he doesn't know it all, he'll just lie to you. No. Not really. No. It's going to be good. vGix did a good job with their returns. They did. They were very well done with their reviews. That's right. Yup. So I feel like this pre-show is just really lagging. Wonder why. Something I've done. All right, I'll let you in on a little secret. This TYST control panel switcher comes with 3 files that you can download from TYST.com. One is a configuration file for vMix. One is a shortcut file for vMix, and the other is an activator file for vMix. And I think the vMix config is, the vMix config is literally a vMix configuration file. Full configuration file. That is, you load that configuration file into vMix and it changes everything. It changes the destination. Well, I need to check that right now. It changes the destination of your recording. Yeah, in this case, it switched me over to AVI, and I'm recording to the F drive, which I don't even think I have. Yeah, let's get that straight real quick. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to the recordings drive. That one right there. Okay, whew. Good. So anyway, all of my settings were changed. It wiped out all of my streaming destinations. It changed my audio output. It changed my performance tab in vMix, which it shouldn't have done. That was bad news. And yeah. Well, let's get into the show. What do you say? If I can figure out how to get into the show now, gee whiz. It's they even wiped out the you know, the little tabs, the red, green, yellow, purple, light blue, dark blue tabs. It wiped out all the labels on those. Why did it do that? It's torturing me. Okay. Well, anyway, it doesn't have, and it didn't add any of the ones that I'd already added. Well, let's try. Here we go. We're going to get started. Oh, that was so painful. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. But it did. It did. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Yes, indeedy. It's going to be fun. So what we're talking about today is this little guy right here. And it's going to drive you crazy because of the rolling lighting. And I've tried different frame rates to try to get this dialed in. And what I've settled in on is 24 frames a second. I really need to slow it down to about half that. I really need to go to about 12 frames a second. So I won't stay on this part any longer than I have to because of the rolling nature of the video. I guess I could have tried like 120. I didn't think about that. I don't think that any of my cameras go up to 120. Anyway, Anthony, welcome. Glad you're here. So yeah. So let's go back here for a second. Golly gee, and let me put together a little composite shot that's going to include that, so that we can go to that. So maybe it won't be quite as bad. Let's see. Let's put number 4 in there like that one. We'll go there, and we'll go there. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So let's go to that shot right there. And then we'll also do the opposite and put me right here. Except it didn't work. Let's try again. Sorry about this. I'm just going crazy. I mean, it's okay. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing. This is a total sidetrack. Let's go with the desktop capture. And what I want to do is take this right here, make this the main shot, and then put myself in the corner. All right? So I'm going to take this shot right here, number 4, right there. And I'm going to go into number 4. And I'm going to go into layers. And I'm going to add a layer to it. Let's just do number 1. So let's say we're going to overlay the main shot. Well, the main shot should appear there right now. It should. Turn it off, turn it back on. We'll go into edit it, and it's still not appearing. We go back to layers, and it's not there. Craziness. Craziness. What is going on with the craziness? I don't get it. I don't get it. So we'll just have to figure out a way to make it work. Sorry about that. You can tell I'm a little off base today. What we've got here, and let's see, let's go ahead and just move it into preview. We'll move it into program. There we go. Is the TYST. It's a TY. And this is written in Chinese, so it probably says something like TY1500HD. This is a USB controller. It is probably more akin to the vMix controller when vMix made a controller, which was really, really kind of cool. And what was I going to say about that? I'm trying to do something here at the same time. That's never a good thought. Never a good thought. And this controller has got our basic preview, program, and then our DS key, a downstream keyer. So it's 1 through 12, and then at the end, it's got a shift key. In just a second here, let me try to do this real quick. I'll try to do something real quick that's going to make life easier for all of us. And no, we're not going to do that. We're on the wrong one. Bear with me. Bear with me. Sit tight. 1 second. Not going anywhere. This is number 3. This is a virtual. Okay. Position. We're going to zoom it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to crop it, except it's not cropping. We're going to flatten layers. Did that work? Jeez. Sometimes even the simplest things, when you kind of get off kilter, can kind of drive you crazy. So what I want to do is just just overlay myself on there. And then we'll get rid of that other guy because he's obviously in the way. Yeah, jeez. You'd think I've never done this before. All right, got rid of that. So we got this. All right, so we've got a row of preview, program, and downstream key. At the end of each row is a shift button, which basically when we go into shift mode, that turns 1 through 12 into 13 through 24. And as I said, this comes pre-configured. So let's take a look at some of the configuration so we can see what's going on. It's got the menu, a menu here of basically a stream button, external button, a record button, fast forward, rewind. Then it's got 8 different transitional effects, and then 8, including 4 preview and 4 program of downstream keyers. We'll talk about that. It's got a program and master, so I can pull my own audio down, and I can pull the master audio. That's pretty nice. That's pre-configured. And then some keys for the joystick, and then a T-bar, and I think whatever the auto is set for, which currently is whatever this guy is, would be what happened with this. Let's see what happens if we go to it. Oh, doesn't even appear to be working. So we may have broken that accidentally. Then we've got a couple stingers, a fade to black, a cut, and a mix. But let's go into the shortcuts, because that's really where the action lies. And oh yeah, that'll be good to keep that guy up there. So let's go in the back door here, and we're going to see that we have got a ton of shortcuts, 334 of them to be exact. Shortcut number 1, the very first one on the list, you notice it says preview input, and that's okay because it's going to take something and put it into preview. And whatever input 1 is, it's going to put it into preview. Now, you know, most of the time when you have a shortcut, it's going to give you the name. In this case, it says main shot. But they've checked the box that says assign shortcuts to an input number, which means whatever is in input 1 will now go to preview when you press that button. So if we move our shots around, in vMix, if we do this and then we move that to a different position, say maybe number 2, this shortcut would continue to find number 2 wherever it was. But they decided it was best just to take them 1 through 12. So whatever our first 12 inputs are in vMix, they'll be controlled here. Now you notice number 2 is a little different, and that's channel 2, which is controlled by the shift key. So the shift key means that whatever is input number 13, which looks like pre-show, let's just try this. So we'll get out of that for just a second. We're going to shift down here, and we're going to go to 13, which is going to be 1, and that's going to take us to pre-show in preview. So we'll go and shift, and that's going to take us to program. Turn the shifts off, and I'll take us back wherever we were. Where were we? We were in desktop capture. There we go. So I am fascinated by this because apparently, you know, this is just a traditional, not a traditional, but it's a MIDI keyboard controlled by USB. We've enabled it right here, TY1500HD switcher. We didn't do any channel mappings because it doesn't appear on this controller. That the X keys would work there, but in this case, it went ahead and assigned different channels. So here we've got our second one is on channel 2. Now some of the other functions are going to be on channels 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, all for this one controller. So we've got, these are all our previews. These are all our active inputs, which means basically it's going to program. And then we've got the transition effects that we can set. And we'll take a look at this very first one here. This is fade, which is going to be number 38, which, yeah, we'll find it. Well, let's find it right now. See if this is 38. Yeah, that's 38 right there. So let's close that. In fact, let's put, let me close this for just a second, and let's put this guy in preview. There we go. It's a little flashy, but literally flashing. So we'll come back down here and we'll do a find. And in this case, I'm just going to hit this green button that's the fade button, number 38. It finds it. And actually, they did something in the configuration where the find doesn't really find anything anymore. Not quite sure about that. So we got fade, zoom, cube, stinger 1, which actually is over here. Wipe, reverse, wipe down, wipe up. And then we get into the cut, the auto, the mix. Oh, and there's another stinger 1, stinger 2. So maybe there's a stinger up here that I missed. And fade to black. And then we have the recordings, stop, start. Oh, it's got previous item. Okay, well, that's nice. And then T-bar is set to fade, which didn't work just a second ago. And then our volume controls. And this is interesting. This is set to volume on whatever the active input is. Well, I don't have an active input that is, I don't have an input that is in program that has audio in it. I just have my audio on all the time. So I would have to reconfigure my software in order to use that. Here are DSK buttons. DSK, set input 1. Excuse me, overlay input 1 on input 1. Doesn't make any sense, but that's what they've got. So basically we've got inputs 1 and 2, we've got inputs 1 and 13 on the different 4 overlay channels. And then the same thing in preview. So that's 1 through 13. Then we have 2 through 14, 3 through 15, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of different shortcuts here just to do overlays. But what that means in reality, and let's go back here for just a second, is that I can take, I've got my lower third, which is input number 8. And I can do, input number 8 came right up. And so I can go back to it. And let's see, can we do that? Let's do that here. So I'm going to take input number 8 off. And I am going to put input number 3 on, which is just mini me. And that just happens to be the third input here in my vMix production. Now, so what that means essentially is if you're going to have 1 through 12, that's going to be a mix of preview and program on some on inputs, and then for downstream keyers, you're going to have whatever's available that you didn't use in 1 through 12 already, and with the shift key. So I guess we could keep the shift key on here, and then have our overlays as inputs 13 through 24. Okay. Confused yet? Yeah. All right. Let's go back to the desktop capture. And and I'm still here, kind of in the bottom left-hand corner of the picture, because downstream keyer 1 program number 3 here is still active, because that's input 3 right here. Oh, you can't see it because it's behind me. Well, let me turn it off. That's it right there. You can see it's just a mini me in the bottom left-hand corner, number 3, and it comes up over there. This would be, yeah. Unfortunately, there is no brightness control, Andrew, on this. It is what it is. But this is only for demonstration purposes. Here in the studio, it looks pristine and very bright, very bright. Very, very impressed with that. Let's see, what other tricks has this little guy got up its sleeve? It's doing some funny things, and I wish I could figure out how it's doing it. For example, this button right here, the downstream key or program 1, I mean, let's go into shortcuts, and we'll just do a find. So let's find that one right there, and it's number 46. Okay, there is no 46 on this list. Now again, this should be a searchable list, but vMix can't find number 46 on that list. Why? Because it's not there. Let's go into the section that is those guys. Have we missed it? I know I'm scrolling through pretty fast. Yep, we missed it. Let's go back into the basically, this is going to be downstream keyer number 1 program. So downstream keyer program for number 1 is really 54. But if we mash it, it's 46. Now, if we want to find 54, well, there's 53, but we'll do that again. Here's 53 right here, but there is no key 54. The shift button is 66. The slider is 8. The other slider is 7. These are 99, 101, 100, and 102, but there is no 54. Now, if I've got this here, and if we hit the 1 there, that becomes 54. Okay, so this acts like a shift button, and that changes all of these numbers on this top row to a different shortcut. Still the same input. It's still input 1. So if input 1 is not truly an overlay, then it's just going to overlay, you know, the full screen. So this is a shift button, and the shift button is a shift button. So we've got those 3 shift buttons there that change how vMix is seeing these buttons. So let's just turn on the shift button for the first row. That's preview. You notice there are no buttons illuminated here in the program row, and I know it's hard. That button is on, and there are no buttons in DSK, and none of them in program, because the shot that you're seeing is input number 83, and so it's not on this keyboard. But it would be nice to see how vMix, well, let's see. We can't see a shortcut that isn't on the list. An activator is not going to help because these are just turning lights off and on. There really isn't much, although you can see it shows the name of my input there. We don't have any scripts that are operating here. I'm just curious how this keyboard is changing these buttons without a shortcut to do it. Anyway, it's a quandary to me. I mean, that's the, yeah, let's do this the right way. Go there. Can we do back there? There we go. There we go. We'll get that off. I'm totally mystified by that. And I don't like being mystified because client is asking me to integrate this into a system that I'm building for them, and I need to know how it works so that when it doesn't work, I can know why. but I think it's really cool. All right, so let's put 5 in program, and then we want to get rid of the overlay, which is number 8. So we're just going to punch number 8, and we want to overlay number 3. So we got that one. So there we go. Now, if I overlaid number 1, it would just be this. So this is now an overlay, and I can take it off. And I just put it on there, and I'm taking it off by putting it again. So it is a toggle. Dave says it's time to master central control, but I do like the fact that all the work is done. It's just a matter of really kind of understanding how they have done it, so that we can, and the client system is really going to be, it's going to run replay, but it really is going to be a pretty simple system, and they won't need a lot of inputs. They don't have a lot of cameras. So I think we can really make use of inputs 1 through 12 for their cameras, their overlays, their videos, and any still shots. And then, of course, use the shift button to do the same thing. So that gives us 24 inputs that we can manage right here on this keyboard, as well as having the ability to, turn off and on external, because we'll just program external to stay on all the time anyway. But I like not doing the work. I just want to understand it. I don't mind learning why they've done what they've done. And I'm really impressed with what they've done. For the end user, I was chatting with Greg online the other day, and he says he's got a couple of these, and the same brand of the replay controller, and so and he likes them. So we'll see. So, yeah, where are we? Thank you for bearing with me as we went around, kind of went through all the weeds there. Oh, there you go. Anthony says it's not the frame rate. I could change the shutter speed. There you go. Change that down to about 12, because I don't need a fast shutter. Can we do that on the fly? Bear with me for a second, and let's try that. So we'll take that out of the way, and really what I want to do is I want to bring in this is the Bird Dog, which is our overhead camera today. And let's see if we can change the exposure. Is that what we're looking for? No, we're looking for would the picture have the shutter? Well, I probably have put myself in a position where I don't know what I'm talking about. Or do we have any ability to control the shutter? Deflicker. Can we try turning that off? See what happens there. Does that make a difference? Doesn't appear to help. Well, maybe just a tad. Let's try for 60 hertz. Yeah, it's about the same pulse. And 50 hertz. Yeah, 50 hertz is worse. So we'll try a deflicker off. Yeah, off and 60 are the same thing, because we're on 60. Yeah, I don't see a shutter speed on here. I may be missing it somehow. speed control. Oh, that's just to do with the pan tilt zoom portion. What about advanced scene, autofocus, auto sensitivity? Color matrix is not going to do it. Picture. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be there. Oh, what do we got? Iris priority. There we go. That's it right there. Okay. Well, let's see if we changed. That's not the shutter speed, though. My bad. Shutter priority. There we go. There's shutter speed. Okay, so that's on 30. 25. 25 is as low as we can go. Let's see if we can go to 120. 125. Oh, yeah, that's much better. 110. 190. What if we go to, well, there you go. That's 10,000. Oh, no, never mind. It didn't get that much better. Let's try 100. Yeah. You can see the buttons better, but it doesn't get rid of the flicker. Well, it was a good idea, Anthony. It was a good idea. What if we did manual? No. Well, we increase the shutter speed. Open the iris all the way. That's not going to help. Nope. 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 Sorry. It was a rabbit hole. It was a rabbit hole. My apologies. My apologies. There we go. Look at that. Right where I wanted to be. And where is my lower third, number 8? We'll get that on there. There we go. There we go. I like this little keyboard. I mean, it doesn't have the flexibility of an X Keys or a Stream Deck where you can do any shortcut you want to. I mean, you can, but these are already pre-labeled, and I haven't tried to get the button off. Yeah, it's not coming off. So there. Yep. That's it. That's the keyboard. That's the, let's see, let's go 5. We'll take that one off, put 3 on. There we go. That's it. That's, and right now you can get it on Amazon for $470 and have it delivered on Father's Day, depending on where you are. At least that's what I would get here. They say they have one left in stock, order soon. The one that I have, I happened to find on eBay, and the replay controller that I got to match it had to come from China. And it's been for 13 days, and it might be here next week. Yeah, it's a little uncertain. Oh, and they added an extra $45 to the price for fees and duty and taxes. Somewhere in there, I'm sure, is a tariff. But yeah. Yeah. Well, folks, that's it. That's it. Oh, were we getting buffering? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's been crazy. When I 2 weeks ago when I tried to stream to Facebook at the same time as did I say a bad word? When I was trying to stream to Facebook at the same time as streaming to YouTube, I wasn't able to do it. It was buffering immediately. Plenty of bandwidth, plenty of horsepower, and I've researched it some, and it appears to be on YouTube's end. That YouTube apparently is hiccuping with it. So, if anybody's got any ideas on that, and this is a custom RTMP, both with Facebook and with YouTube. So it's not an API thing, at least not obviously. Yep. All right, what is Ed saying here? Ed is saying, let's go into the pre-show stuff. Can we do that? Sit tight. I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, Ed says we have a symphony to cover June 21st, and it would be easier to use pecans than trying to remember posts buttons. And then he says pecan buttons. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm a soccer dad. That's how I got into this whole thing. Otis, you make me feel better. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Yeah. Yeah, really. Really. It's like, okay. It means you got to change the way you think. You can't be just the freelance of thinking and having things do the way you want to do. Ed, there you go. Just, third time's a charm. Third time's a charm. Picture buttons. Yeah, that's the beauty of the Stream Deck. Or with both the Stream Deck and X keys is you can label the button however you want. But in a circumstance which is what my client's circumstance is, where they are intending to market this and sell it, they would like to have the same exact thing in every one of their locations. So yeah, so Eric's asking about the 1700 HD, and let's see what we've got on that one. I think that's a newer version. Yeah, it's do we have some images of it here? Yeah. It's different. It's different. I think it's got yeah, it's got 2, 4, 6, looks like 8 analog knobs for audio. And it's basically intended as a 12, excuse me, an 8 channel. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the shift key. Yeah, yeah. So it's different. It's different. But to answer your question, no, I haven't looked at it. A lot of people do. I've never actually operated one. Stick with what you like, stick with what you know. That's right. Well, I think you answered your own question, Anthony. Is Stream Deck is very inexpensive. Stream Deck is very inexpensive. And so yeah, okay, so we want to see a picture of what this thing looks like. Hold on. And let's see if we can bring that into vMix, add input, image. It's on the desktop. And it is called, where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Let's try again. Copy image. Can we do it that way? Hold 1 second. Save image as, yes, go into the desktop. JPG, can we do it again? It's there somewhere, there it is, right there. Nope. Have to do it a different way, oh my gosh. Eric, Google it. It's funny, you know, when you try to copy an image or save an image to file these days, if it's, in this case, I'm getting a, it wants to save it as a WEBP file. Well, I'll say, okay, well, let's don't do that. Let's instead save it as a JPEG. This time I'll try a PNC file. Image, browse. There it is. It did save as a JPEG finally. There we go. So that's what the 1700 looks like. See if we can blow it up a little bit. It's got a nice little palm rest on it. It appears to have some sort of LED or LCD screen. It doesn't include the joystick. So yeah, so there we go. There, yeah, there we go. Agreed. Agreed. Yep. Life is good. Life is good. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, guys, and put this guy to work and continue to try to find out, if I can, how they are working those shift keys. Oh, and I mentioned this in pre-show, but if you're considering this device, one thing to understand is that if you use, it comes with 3 files, or you download them from the company's website. One is a activator file, one is a shortcut file, and one is a vMix configuration file. If you install that vMix configuration file, it will change your whole vMix setup. It will change your resolution, frame rate. It will change what your streaming destinations are. It will change where you record to. It'll change all the shortcuts, of course, and all the activators. But be prepared for big changes if you use the configuration file. And I wasn't able to get all of the, in my experimentation, I wasn't able to get all of the shortcuts to work when I just loaded the shortcut file. Well, of course, you know, is this working? Let's see. Let's put something else in preview. Let's just put that one in preview. Is this going to work? Yeah, so that's working now. The T-bar is working now. It wasn't working earlier. And if I put I'm still getting the same type of transition here. So that's okay. I don't use the T-bar a whole lot. So there we go. There we go. It's fun. You know, it's like anything else. You don't know until you know. Yeah. Really, I think probably the most important thing is the warning. Yeah. The rest of it is just kind of like, you know, it's a keyboard. You know what it does. Make it do what it does. It's just the analyst in me that wants to figure out how it does what it does and why. I mean, this whole shift button concept I really like, because that's the same thing that could apply in X keys and could apply unless it's an internal function of this keyboard somehow. It could apply in X keys and Stream Deck and any other MIDI device that you want to use as a keyboard. You know, you can use a piano keyboard if it's a MIDI device. That'll work. Yeah. Well, if you liked this video, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys next week. We'll have something else equally as underwhelming to take a look at. And yeah, let's see if I can figure out how to use this keyboard to get out of here. Now let's see, this key, no, this key, yeah, that key is that, and that is that. And how do I get out of here? Can I just fade to black? I really don't want to fade to black. I really don't want to fade to black. I'll fade to black later, but what I want is, what I wanted was to have this be on the keyboard. Yeah, there we go. Okay, toodles.